I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I'm born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Good morning, man. All right, so today's verses are 1 Peter 3, 21 and 22. Really, I feel like Tom left at an opportune time. These have been tough ones. These required some research and digging and reading and so verse 21 starts. Might as well go back to verse 20 from yesterday. So we were talking about God waited patiently in the days of Noah while the ark was being built. In it, only a few people, 8 in all, were saved through water. So we know that those were the people that that Noah had preached to, that had listened. There were very few people. Wickedness was just spreading everywhere. And then it continues, and this water symbolizes baptism that now saves you also. Not the removal of dirt from the body, but the pledge of a good conscience towards God. It saves you by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and who has gone into heaven and is at God's right hand with angels, authorities, and powers in submission to him. So as I dug through this, the first thing I looked at was just baptism. It symbolizes a death, burial, and resurrection, and can only be done by immersion. Going under the water represents the death and burial of Jesus Christ, but it also represents the death of our natural selves. There were a lot of arguments that I came across kind of saying that, there's two sides to this, so there's two meanings that people tend to believe. The other is the word saves is not referring to eternal salvation. Instead, they believe Peter's saying it is the act of publicly identifying ourselves with Christ through baptism saves us from being tempted to hide our faith to avoid the suffering and persecution of Christians Peter has been addressing. And that speaks volumes to me, identifying ourselves, being baptized, that symbol of being a believer. And then and that verse ends with, this is all made possible through the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. And that all of verse 22, who once he was resurrected has gone into heaven and is at God's right hand. Now, as I kind of tie that back into the rest of 1 Peter 3, he's addressing all believers. He's commanding Christians to be unified, to refuse to seek revenge when wronged. He's quoting David and Isaiah to show that God's people have always been called to reject evil and to do good. This is true even when we are suffering. In fact, it may be God's will for his people to suffer in part to demonstrate his power. Our good example can convict others to repent, to believe. Christ too suffered, died, was resurrected, and ascended to power and authority in heaven. Hope I hit the nail on the head with that one. I have to have Tom for a review session when he gets back. Let's see who has joined us today. So I've got Ken Gooch online. Good morning. Chris Connolly, Bert Reggiani. Thank you all for joining. Again, I hope I hit the nail on the head. Not 100% sure. It's kind of a confusing chapter for me. So anyways, I hope this was a blessing to you, and we will all be on at 8:30 for Strengthening Your Roots. Peace.